Good day, and welcome to my new channel, Songs in the Key of Y. Yeah, it's a blatant ripoff of Songs in the Key of Z, which was a collection of what is called outsider music. The idea of this channel is that I will post music from various outsider artists. Anyone, anywhere in the world is free to send me music they've recorded. And if I feel that it fits within the vein of outsider music, I will post it on this channel with a bio of the person who created it. Now, when Songs of the Key of Z came out, I already knew some of the artists on that collection because I like that kind of music. Basically, the idea is that these are artists who don't really fit anywhere. They have talent, they have passion, but they don't have a vision that is shared by enough people for that talent to gain any traction. The vision is so outside of what popular culture is interested in that they don't really fit anywhere. Sometimes we see them as crazy or too odd. Sometimes we dismiss them as simply untalented. But whatever the reason may be, they don't seem to fit into neat little boxes. So they end up under this collective title, outsider artist. Now, I'm not that big on the notion of genres, generally speaking, but what I like about this genre is that it gives all sorts of interesting musical ideas a place to be collected and possibly appreciated. And some big names end up in this category. Daniel Johnston and Captain Beefheart, for example. And some lesser known but still cult favorite types. Shuby Taylor, Congresswoman Melinda Jackson Parker. And the thing is, I unironically love these artists and this genre. This is not me laughing at them. Although if you do sub to this channel and you want to laugh, fill your boots. That's fine by me. Laughing is good. Now, I'll start by relating a story of two buskers I used to love right here in Vancouver. I don't know if they had the talent part quite down, but they most certainly had a unique vision, and they were committed to it. This was maybe 25 years ago or so, 2000, 2001, downtown Vancouver, Granville Street. The gentrification process was underway, but only in its early stages. London Drugs and Best Buy held promise for its clean corporate future. But for now, the porn shops, cheap bars, cheap hotels, and arcades were still king, although they were slowly dying off, soon to be gone and relegated to an online world where people could hide their shame more easily. Noel and I used to head down there on our days off and hang out at the Lion's Lair arcade where we could play video games. That was our fix. And I think Gauntlet Dark Legacy was the game of choice around that time. Great game, too. It's like a souped-up gauntlet where you could save your progress, which was unusual for arcade games at the time. We'd play a few games, wander up and down the street, maybe stop at a cafe for some wine and a debate, go yell at the protesters, play public pranks, check out the buskers, just killing time and making stories. And at that time, Granville Street was home to a decent number of, let's say, street folks who didn't really seem like they had many other options in life. One was a busker I referred to as the Chugga Chugga guy, because that was literally all he would do. At first, it was just his bongos. He'd stand there with a blank expression on his face, his eyes focused somewhere in the distance, and he'd just beat the same rhythm over and over again. And it never changed, neither in rhythmic structure, tempo, nor volume. The man was a machine. Occasionally, he would mutter what seemed like random syllables while he performed his Chugga Chugga routine, and I could never really make out what he was saying. It was never really clear. And then one day he showed up with a guitar, and I had to see where this was going. He'd hold the guitar, mute all the strings with his left hand, and then strum that old familiar rhythm with his right hand. And on it would go. Like I said, the man was dedicated to the beat. A block or two down the road from the Chugga Chugga guy was another busker who was a lot harder to explain. He was like an older man with a big bushy gray beard, and he sat on a chair playing this odd contraption, unlike anything I'd ever seen before. I suppose he made it himself? Who knows? It was a weighted base plate with a roughly 4-foot pole sticking out of the top. And a third of the way up was a hubcap, which was attached to the pole. Another third of the way up was a second hubcap. And then the pole would extend out the top of that hubcap, perhaps another foot or so. From the base plate, over the hubcaps and up to the top, were perhaps 8 to 10 steel wires stretched very tightly. They were arranged around the hubcaps and the pole in such a way that the man could use 2 violin bows to play the separate strings. And they produced the most dissonant, bizarre noises you can imagine. Similar to a violin, but I doubt this thing was tuned in any way. I couldn't make any sense of what he was playing. But I grew up listening to everything from Buddy Holly to Renaissance choral music to Ornette Coleman. So it didn't bother me that this wasn't consonant. I just found it fascinating. It brought up feelings polite music never could. He had a bow in each hand, and it was like half a string quartet that was being made up on the fly by a very passionate and dedicated player who just happened to have no real musical ability or understanding. Or maybe his understanding was so alien to me that it just came out as noise. But then, one magical day, I saw the two of them together, and I couldn't believe it. The stars must have aligned perfectly. The Chugga Chugga guy and the old man with the crazy theremin violin hubcap contraption were jamming. Whew. I sat there transfixed, watching these two men make music unlike anything I had ever heard before for maybe 30 minutes. It was amazing.